All right, so we are working on the exhaust manifold. We are going to remove these two exhaust manifolds. This one here on this side of the engine, which, as you can see here, is the front of the engine. If we step back a little bit and take a look at the car, you can see this is the passenger side of the car on this side. You can see the driver's side of the car is on this side. You can see the wheels down here. The wheels from the drivetrain are on either side, and this is the front of the engine. The engine goes into the car just like it's set up here, but it's sitting on the lift. We're going to first take off the front side exhaust manifold. The point is that we want to be able to remove this entire electrical cabling system, which comes in several parts. We have this part here, and then we have this part here. We have this part here, which goes all the way up and around the car. So we need to remove this entire electrical cabling system in order to get to the valve covers and the intake manifold here on top. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll make an adjustment here to my... The oil filter is still connected to the engine. I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Let me get something to catch this oil. Get this electrical cable out of the way. Let's see. Grab a towel here to catch the oil when it comes out of the... We have our old cheap Fram filter, which we won't be using again. I'll just set this off to the side for a moment while we keep this oil from dripping too much here. Dry this out. And clean up some of the oil and goop that we have down here. All right, so to remove this exhaust manifold, I want to try to show you all of the parts here that need to be taken off. We've got the dipstick up here. We got the dipstick here. There, as you can see. The dipstick is going to be moved over the dipstick holder, or whatever this tube is going to be removed from the engine. And you can see down in here, it connects down into the engine down there, right where my finger is pointing. Let's see if we're getting a good view of that down in there. But you can see the dipstick comes down, it comes down here and goes into the engine. We're going to remove this bolt and see if the dipstick will just slide out of there. So let me grab a 10 millimeter wrench. And remove. Oh, this is 12 and 13, so I'm going to grab a 10. How about I just use a 10 millimeter socket. Or wrench. There's a 12, there's 11, there's a 15, there's a 9, and there is a 10. Here's the ratchet. Just use the box wrench. All right. I'm going to leave that disconnected and put the screw in. Well, no, it's not moving. Okay. Just point it a little more up a little more. Okay, we got that bolt out. So we were taking out this dipstick here, and so we removed this this 10 millimeter bolt here. The service manual says to simply remove it. So that means it's stuck down in there. So we're gonna have to just pull it out. So let's put our screw up here, because we want to put that right back in there. So it's turning pretty easy, so I'm just gonna pull it out. See, is that making a dent? No, it's not moving at all. All right, so I'm thinking I'm gonna have to pry that out of there with something. I don't want to just pull and pull and pull on it. Let's see if I can find something that'll pry this out. Handy dandy pry bar. As pry bar said, as you can see, is Pittsburgh, which is the brand name of the Harbor Freight. Go ahead and cut this off. We'll try the long one first. If that one doesn't work, we'll try the shorter ones. So I'll get this down here and get it leveraged onto something. Okay. Okay, it's coming looser. Looks like it's coming out. Yeah, it's sliding out of there now. So I put this down. Yeah, it's coming out. Just got to turn it side to side. Now this dipstick has an O-ring in it, around it, that keeps the oil from coming out around the stick itself when it goes and settles down into the engine. That O-ring is going to have to be replaced. Now I'm going to pull it out here and show it to you, according to what the service manual says. Okay, I'm going to have to pry this some more. I'm being careful not to come up against this plastic piece here. This is where some electrical power connector here that I'm pointing at with this pry bar. This is going to have to come out and be moved over to the other engine. But the way we will do that is once we get these exhaust manifolds off and take some other things off, we will move these electrical connectors over one at a time, so as to keep them, to make sure that they go exactly to the place where they belong, without having to be concerned about the manual. Concerned about what the manual says. All right, let's see here. Dipstick is trying to give us a little bit of trouble here. Let's see if we can see down in there and see what's going on. Try reaching down in here, see if I can get around these cables and pull up on it from down there. Yep. It's coming out little by little. I have to pry it just a little more. I think this might be in here at an angle that's not, be in here at an angle that's not working. It's not going to work with, maybe here at an angle that's not going to work real well for, with the exhaust manifold in the way. Come on, you can get out of there real easy, I'm sure. Come on. All right, let's try this pry bar again. It's still coming out, but boy, that bad boy is pretty long. This thing seems to be set up. Let me see if it goes back down in there if I push it. Yeah, you have to take this out after taking out the exhaust. So I'm gonna have to do that the other way around. Now the service manual says you should be able to take the dipstick out without removing the exhaust manifold, and that's probably true. Oh, look at that. There it is. All right. And there it is. Now I talked about an O-ring that needs to be replaced. That's this red rubber band here. That needs to be, the service manual says this must be replaced. So we're going to go ahead and heed what it says and replace that before. We'll go ahead and replace that before we put it in the other engine. I'm going to clean it off a bit. Also clean off the dipstick. Here, clean off the dipstick tube. Put the dipstick back in. You see there's a couple O-rings right here on the dipstick that I've not noticed. We may go ahead and replace those as well, although I'm not sure that that's necessary. Let's clean that up. Okay. Main camera battery died. We need another battery on that. All right. Okay. Oh. Could you hand me that big tub? Yeah. That tub, yeah. I can put all the parts in there. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Okay, we've got this tub over here that we're using. I'm moving things over slowly until we can start to put them on the new engine. So I'll come back over here and continue working on the exhaust manifold. The exhaust manifold here that we are removing, but we got the dipstick out, which you should be able to see the hole down in there. I hope. All right. All right. So we've got on this exhaust manifold, we've got 3 bolts across the top. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 bolts across the bottom. 1, then 1 down in here, 1 down in here, and 1 over here on this side. So there are 4 across the bottom, 3 across the top. We're going to go ahead and start removing these. If we can't remove these, I'd like to remove these without taking off the catalytic converter, but because there is a bolt here, right down in there, right down there, there's no straight shot from that. So unless I can find a tool that will let us make a turn here and take it off, I really don't want to stick a wrench down there and take 30 minutes to unscrew this bolt. So let me see if I can get that one out first. That looks like a 14. Let's see if it is. Let's grab an extension, let's move these out of the way. We have this universal socket. Where's my hands here? We have this universal socket here that we're going to try to use to turn the corner there. Let me see if I can find let's try a 13. See if that will do the trick. Yes, that's the exact size. We don't know if the 13 will work in here or not, but let's give it a try. Yep. So it's 13 there. Sometimes, not on a car that's never been, worked on before, but sometimes when you take your car to the shop, if they happen to lose one of your bolts, they'll replace it with another bolt that's not really the right size. So I like to check and make sure I've got the same size bolt on all the bolts I'm going to use, or same size socket for all the bolts. And it does look like I can do that. I can use the same socket. Let me see also if I use an extension, how this extension might work out for us. Boy, that sure does look like it's going to fit on there. Yes, it does. Whoops. Yes, it does. So you can see our socket does fit on there, and it comes all the way down here, so I can put a power tool on here. Let's see. Again, we got our handy dandy Milwaukee Fuel M18 red lithium high powered. Oh, and there's my 10 millimeter socket. which I think I'm gonna have to use. I'm gonna have to use this shorter one because this is too short. So let's use a Now, when I put these together, when I put these tools together, I try to put where the little ball here is. I try to line it up with that circle. That's to give it a little extra hold. I mean, you can take it right off, but it gives it a little extra hold because we're using some pretty powerful tools. Let's put that down. Put this back on. Again, I'm up here putting this tool onto that bolt right there. And we're going to hook a power tool onto this and pop that bolt right off, assuming that this tool is powerful enough to do that. See if we can put some more power on this. I'm going to switch it up to 3 from 1. There it is. And you can see down in here that this tool, oh boy. So I pull, not loosen that one up, let's loosen this one up too. Ooh, buddy. These bad boys get hot. Handy dandy remover here. Take it off. There we go. Let's put this back in here for now. All right, so now we have a straight shot for these bolts. Now I'm screwing these out. I'm unscrewing these and screwing them back in just a little bit so that when this when we get this all loosened up, that the whole piece doesn't just fall down into the car. Let's see here. All right, so that's ready to come off. That booger is ready to come off, but there is the question of this one bolt back in here. Let me see if we can get onto that thing and loosen it up. Now, those are out. They're all loosened up. We're going to go ahead and take them all out. I'd really like to put these bolts right back in the same place they were, but since they're going in a new engine, normally I would put them all back in the same spot that they were, but these are going in a new engine, so it's not going to be necessary to do that. Now, one thing we'll talk about later is when these bolts are all out, you can see some of these bolts are kind of rusty. We're going to soak these in purple cleaner so we can get them all cleaned up and they'll slide in easily. All right. Okay, so as you can see here, the exhaust manifold is loose and ready to come off, but it still has a bolt down here. Right there. Wait, let me pull up a little bit. Right down here. So this bolt is going to come out. I'm going to take this bolt out using looks like I'm going to be forced to use a wrench on this. I can't get a power tool back in there. I probably could if if I could get under here, but there's no room because the engine is sitting, the whole drivetrain is sitting on top of this. I should have 7 bolts here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And number 7 is misplaced. Let me see where I dropped that bolt. Where I laid that bolt. For now, okay, I will find that later. It can't have gone far. So let me take this, can't have gone far. Let me take this bolt right here out. This looks like it is a 15. And we're going to need a ratchet, a wrench. $17. Let's see if we got this 14, 15. And we got that is a 15 as well. Might have to loosen it up with this box wrench, and then we can take it out with this ratchet box wrench here. And that is a 15 right on the money. All right, so lefty. And that's going to need something to leverage it and pry it loose. All right, let's see. What I'm going to do is tap that. Well, we'll try this and tap it lightly. Well, we got it loosened. So, go back in here with our 15 millimeter box ratchet. Slide it on there nicely and get a better view here. I see how you are. You can still see that good. It would be easier to just use the wrench. Use the other box wrench. Because at least that one will slip on like this. Let's try it like that. Good idea. I'm going to put a ratchet on this with a 15. Let's see, there's 15. Let me try something. Let me try another tool. Let's see if we can move this along a little bit faster. Oh, afraid not. I wanted to try to use this tool to stick down on here and zip it out, but it looks like that's not going to do the trick. It's not really made for, this is not made for engine parts, so we won't use that. So as it is with a lot of these things, we're just going to keep jumping back and forth between tools until we get this thing off, until we get it all the way off. So far, all the tools I've used for this car have come from either Harbor Freight or they were Craftsman tools that I had already. I prefer Craftsman tools, but for Harbor Freight tools, they work just fine as long as they're not power tools. Power tools, I've found that they just don't live up to expectations, especially for working on a car. It's just they they wear out quickly. They don't have enough power. So I personally do not use them. And so, like the Milwaukee brushless, cordless impact wrench, this thing from Milwaukee, it is literally the best tool I own. Well, all of my Milwaukee tools are the best tools I own. All right, so we got this. Got this booger out of here. As you can see here, the manifold gasket has fallen off. We're going to replace that. I believe that the engine kit does come with a replacement. If it doesn't, we will replace this. And well, first I'll check with the manual and see if it says replace it. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. So let me just leave that here for a second while we reach up here and take out. This is the exhaust manifold with the catalytic converter connected. And looking down in there, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it's too bad. And I'm gonna bring this over and put my 6-1 bolts back in here. Leave this off to the side. Then put my manifold gasket back over here with the manifold. All right. So we got the front, or the driver's side, exhaust manifold off. Now we're working on the rear exhaust manifold. Boy, if you ever had to take one of these things off from inside this engine, which I'm going to turn around and give you a nice little look under the inside of this car, under the inside of this frame. Pay no attention to this guy, this is our lighting. Over here, you see the brake hydraulic whatchamajig, and then here, this piece hanging down here, this is part of the steering column. And we have our air conditioning connectors here and here and here. But you can see back in this car, it's pretty deep back in there. You've got we've got our electrical, which connects here. This main electrical connector here is what connects to the engine. So I'll just flip back around here. You see there's not a whole lot of room. You can come up through the back here, but to take this exhaust manifold off, you'd have to come up through the back of this thing, come up through the bottom, down in here, and remove these bolts. And as you can see here, just like we had on the other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're going to get some of this cabling out of the way here. Let me make a quick adjustment here. We're going to take some of this cabling off here. You can see there's a nice little, I don't know what they call these things, where you've got two bolts connected here, but these two bolts needed to be loosened up separately, which I did. Take this off, remove the electrical cable from this booger. Well, let me get you a better view here what I'm doing. Well, I thought that might just slide off, but looking like it's not going to do that. So we'll go ahead and take the liberty of removing that. This is an 11, which is not the right size. So let me grab my handy dandy 10 millimeter wrench over here. Here. Put my wrenches off to the side, my 11 off to the side, and take this booger out. I know these bolts have a name, where you screw, where the bolt goes. You've got a bolt with two nuts on it, and you're supposed to tighten the two nuts together. I just don't remember the name of that. We have some of those on a Honda seems to have a whole bunch of those all over the engine. All right, let's see if we can screw that off without, nope, still need the wrench. There we go. Well, this is nice. It's connected. It's stuck on here, so I can put this other nut back on. And keep these two pieces together. As like I said, you really don't want to lose any nuts or bolts. Electrical wire here. That we are still removing. So let's get up and see how we, oh, okay, I see. We still have more to disconnect it. So I'm going to go ahead and make an adjustment here and unplug. This is connected in a way that, okay, he's got a safety clamp there. Let's see, how would we How do we disconnect this? Well, I can disconnect it, but I'm not sure that there's going to be a whole lot of use in that. Well, if I pull this up here and unplug it, we got that disconnected, but this bad boy here, let's see if there's a nice reusable way to disconnect, to unsnap this fastener here. It looks like there is. Sure is. So now we got that fastener off. We'll just leave this one unhooked and leave it in place, since we're just going to put it right back on to the other engine. We'll slide over here. See what our situation is down here. Well, yep, just as I thought. Just as I thought, our let's get you a view down in here. As you can see, way back in there, you see our electrical cable here goes back inside and under the exhaust manifold, and it's connected down under there in such a way that it's going to be a whole lot easier to get to it by first taking out this exhaust manifold. So let's do that now. Let's get our handy dandy power tool. A couple of extenders, a universal joint, and a 15. Let's see, is that a 15? That is a 13. Making this the 15 we were looking for. All right. Let's get us all connected here. Now I'm just going to take a real quick test again, make sure. Oh, no, it's not a 15, it's a 13. Try that. 13, 13, 13. Why? Yeah, 13, 13. 13 and 13. All right, let's go for the hard ones first. See what we can do with those. Line us up. Line us up. See if that will go down under there. And he sure will. But now we don't have enough space for our tool, for our power tool. See if we can take this off. That will go in there and I'm afraid it won't. That will not fit down under there the way I need it to. So, there's more than one way to hook these together. So let's try putting our universal joint on the end of our power tool. Then put the extender on that. See if that gives us a better angle, which it looks like it might. Put the tool on the end of that. And still the angle is a little bit of a challenge. So what I'm going to do is grab, this time, a universal 15 millimeter socket with a universal joint on it. Here we have a 15 millimeter with a universal joint on it. We'll see if that'll fit in there. It sure does. Let's see. Now with all this universal jointed turning, let's see if we can get ourselves enough leverage in there to actually turn this thing. Well, that looks a little bit too short. Or too long. So let's try sliding it in there like this. Yep, I'm afraid not. Let's see. We almost got it, So what do we got to do here? Maybe a longer. Well, maybe not longer. Let's try shorter first. Put the and let's see if we can get a good, hey, look at that. Look at that. It slipped right on. Now tell this bad boy. Oh, did I pull a 15 out of there? I sure did. I said 13 and then I pulled out a 15. Let's go back and grab the 13. That's a 12. That's a 14. Well, then my 13 must just be out of order here. Let's see what we got here. 17. It's 16, 15, 14, 12, 13. 12 back where it belongs. There we go. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing here. Okay, that's on there. Let's go ahead and well, that did loosen it up. Loosened it right out of there. Give it another bang on it a little bit more. Get you a good view here. You can see back in there. Woo. Okay, let's not use a power tool on that. Let's just use a ratchet. Guess you're not really seeing what I'm doing there, are you? Okay. There we go. See that back in there? No? There we go. Sorry it's so shadowy in here. We have set up so much lighting here, but even with all that, it's still a monster to see that. All right, that one is out. Now we got to take this one here out. This right behind this wire that's sitting right in your way. Let's see here. Okay, so that's definitely going to need a power tool, because there's no way I'm going to be able to break that bolt just with this little bitty wrench. No, not with my hand up against that. So let's rig up our power tool. See how we're gonna make that work. Okay, now let's see what we got here. So it hooks on there nicely. And I think with our other universal connect here, we should be able to knock that off with this power tool. I always say use power tools wherever you can if you're working on a car. But there's folks out there that completely disagree with me. And which means I completely disagree with them. Whoa, there we go. All right, loosening with the power tool. Well, what do you know? That is not doing the trick, because this tool is not strong enough. So, if your tool is too weak, I say grab a stronger one. Where is my stronger tool? Ah, here she is, way over there. Way over there. Now for this booger, this thing will rip off any bolt you got. So we'll put this one right up here. Pull that off. I think this is this is a 19, which is what we used, probably what we used to take the wheels off. No, that's bigger than a 19. That's about a 27. But we did use this guy to take the rims off of the car. Use this same tool. All right, so leave that there. And we'll get an adapter, a Craftsman adapter. Now this is not an impact adapter. And so if I break this one, I'll just have to replace it. And I'll put that on here. All right. Which juice we got in this bad boy? He's full. Now we're going to turn that down to 1. So it'll be a little bit less, a little bit less energetic when I first hit it with the power. Now you're probably not getting a very good view of that, but Let me plug this on here. Give you your all right, well, we're gonna have to turn on the big juice and let her rip. Seeing that up in there? Let me see. Yes. He's coming out. He's come out of there. Like I said, this bad boy will pull off any bolt, whether it wants to come off or not. Now we can use a smaller one to go ahead and finish the job. How about this? How about we just stick it on there? Then stick it on there. And there we go. Right out of there. Put it back in there just for safekeeping. For safekeeping. Yeah, come on now. Just so we don't lose this one like we lost the last one, which is not lost forever. It just dropped down in there somewhere. We'll have to grab it later. Go ahead and pull that off. One comes off. Here it comes. There. In there a little. Okay, so that one wants the big mama to come out. So let's here pull this one off. digging. Grab our adapter. Put it on here. There. And watch her come off. There it is. Let's see. Four, should be 3 left. Of course, there's only 2 left. Because one tried to run off and be with the other. Oh boy. Let's use this wrench to get these off here. Go. So that screw likely fell where the other one did. Hey, look at that. The whole thing comes right off. Now, let's grab this exhaust gasket, exhaust manifold gasket, and put these screws back in here. Well, first, find those. There it is. Put these back in here. Let's see, going here. Taking these bolts, putting them back in here. They're being held in a bit by the exhaust manifold gasket, so I'm just going to leave that on there to help hold these bolts in. find a home for this guy for now. And reach down here and find this other bolt. Which must have tried to find his home with the other one that fell off. Well, it was down there in a pretty awkward spot. Yep. He fell down here. Made itself. Tried to hide out, which is probably where the other one is hid out. So let me plug this down in here. Okay. All right. All right, so we've got the engine manifold off. So we now have both engine manifolds off. Exhaust manifolds off. Now we need to take this heat shield, take this other heat shield off down in here, which will let us get to the rest of the electrical system. So I see here there's one massive bolt here that doesn't, it seems to be a little out of, it's not the same size. And we got the smaller bolt here. All right, let me go ahead and whip those two off. That'll be it for this segment. All right. All right, so let's see if we can just take this off with the, is that a 10? No, that's a 13. Let's get a, oh, do I have a 10 here? Yes, I have a 10 here. Okay, and let's see what size this is. That looks bigger than a 15. Let's grab a 15 and a 16. That feels too big, so this is just right, just the right size. That under there is a 15. So we've got 13s, 15s, and 10s so far. we got this giant 15 off of here. Let's get this 10 off. Not with a 13 though. Wait, I just had a 10. I just had a 10. Is this my 10? No, it's not my 10. No, that's 13. Why don't I just do it that 10? Something about 10 millimeters always managed to escape. All right, so get this bad boy plugged. What are we doing here? Let's get you out of the way. Get this right here. This electrical plug down here. Let's see how that unplugs here. That is the, I forget what that thing is called, but it's something that we replaced. Here, let's see if we can. Let's see if there's a way to unplug this. See if there's a way to unplug this.